hope you're doing great today. Today, I'm actually going to be sitting down and making a beat with you guys, kind of like a beat making workflow video, since I actually see that you guys enjoy those videos specifically, even though they're a little long. So make sure you guys stick around and let's have some fun. Before we jump into it, I do want to remind you guys that if you do enjoy this beat that I'm working on, or the beat that you guys heard in the introduction, make sure you guys go down in the description. I will leave a link to the full version of this beat. If you guys want to go ahead and support the channel, you guys can donate whatever you want to this beat. So make sure you guys go and check that out whenever you have a chance. Now, today I have a different setup. I have the MPC ONE. I had to dust it off a bit. And I have the 404 Mark II, and I have a record player. So I have a blank session right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and play this record and let you guys listen to it a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this record. Yeah. That's bad. That is hard right there. So let's get this and name it Chops. Go into our editor. And as of right now, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this sample. The introduction has some really powerful horns. And then the downbeat just comes in so raw. Like, it's so good. I know I don't want to do much to this right here. It's very rare that I do this, but in this beat, I actually just want to loop like a 4 to 8 beat section, which is right here. Now, most of the time, I do chop this up and I go ahead and do the quarter note slices, but every now and then you will bump into a sample that just sounds good. And it's like, man, just loop that bar or 2 bars and let that play. Like, you don't have to do much to it. In this case, we're actually gonna be working with this loop, which I think is 2 bars that I'm gonna select, and I'm gonna build with that as my foundation. There, get the downbeat of what I'm gonna truncate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's cool right there. So that's 2 bars right there that I'm selecting, and I'm gonna go ahead and work with that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna process this that loop that I just selected, and I'm going to extract that into its own loop, or into a separate sample. And I'm going to name this main loop. And I already have a drum program loaded up just to save us some time. And on track 2, I will put my main loop. And for track 2, that's my main loop, I'm gonna just put an empty program, because right now I just selected a loop, extracted it into its own sample. Now I'm gonna go on an empty program, which is right here. I'm gonna name that empty program. And while I'm on that sample loop, I'm gonna go to my browser, and on my browser, I'm gonna go to sample assign. And right here, I'm gonna select that extracted loop that I selected. I'm gonna look for it because I named it. I named it main loop. So I'm looking for main loop right here. Oh, it's right here. I'm gonna put that on pad 1. Select that, go back to main. The way I'm gonna figure out this BPM, I'm gonna get a rough estimate of what is the beats per minute of this. This is the tap tempo. I love using this. I'm gonna hit this sample and I'm gonna tap out the tempo. So it's about 97 beats per minute. Is it exactly 97? I don't know, but I'm gonna go for 97 because that's what it kept showing up while I was tapping out the tempo. If I hit record and lay that down, it should be close enough. There you go. So it's about 97 beats per minute. That sounds just about right. But I don't want to work with 97 beats per minute. I feel like that's too fast. I enjoy the 80s and the 70s BPM. So I don't know, 97 beats per minute, I just don't really vibe with that. I'm not going to work with that. So I'm going to drop it down to about, hopefully I can go for about 80 beats per minute, somewhere in the 80s. So let's see what we can do. In order for me to pitch it down or drop that BPM down, I'm actually going to go to my program editor and I'm going to drop this a few semitones. Let's try -2 semitones, and it's obviously going to affect the pitch of this, but it's also going to slower down the tempo. So let's see what this gives us. Okay, it's about 85 beats per minute after we did that. Now let's put this at 85. Now it gives you 85 point something, something, something. I just round it off to the nearest number. So in this case, I'm gonna drop it down to 85. As soon as I hit the metronome on, if it's off tempo, obviously I will adjust it so it's landing on the BPM. So right now, let's give this a listen. So as you guys can hear, I'm listening to this with the metronome. That sounds pretty good to me. I like how that sounds. I feel like 85 beats per minute sounds good. I'm gonna stick with the 85 with a -2 semitone. It's just a loop. In this video, I'm not going to chop this up into quarter notes and do a bunch of crazy stuff. I'm gonna let the loop speak for itself and let it do its thing. And once we have that foundation, I can go back to that record and grab other pieces and add on top of what we have already. Now I'm gonna go back to track 1, because on track 1, we have our drum program. And right here, we have a few one-shots. I'm gonna go ahead and hit play and listen to the sample looping itself. And as it's looping, I'm gonna audition a few of these one-shots and see what feels right to me. I do 50-50 with quantize and off quantize. Right now, I'm gonna be quantized for my down beats. I wanna be on the down beat. And then I'm gonna turn off quantize and lay down my ghost kicks with no quantization. I was way off right here, which is okay. I can just select that and nudge it. There you go. One thing I am noticing is that the sample is actually playing a little faster. The drums are a little behind. So the BPM is a little off, as you guys can hear. Let's actually listen to this. And you'll notice the bass within the sample is playing a little sooner versus the drums. So the drums are falling behind. There's two things I can do. I can pitch the sample down a little bit more, or I can speed up the BPM of these drums or of the entire sequence to catch up to the sample. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. Let's go up to 86, 87. So now we're gonna play back the sequence 2 BPM faster to see if it catches up to the sample and it plays in sync. There you go. Nice. I'm going to stay at 87 BPM. I like how that sounds. And let's see what we can add with those drums. All right, let's go ahead and add that. And with those hi-hats, I'm going to turn off quantize. I'm also gonna add the ghost kick on top of that, like that. But I'm gonna turn off quantize. Yeah, it's off. Now at this point is where I'm actually gonna start shifting over to the 404 Mark II. I have my foundation, I have the beat playing, the loop, I have the main elements playing that I'm going to work with. On the 404 Mark II, there's not a lot that I'm going to be doing. The only thing that I want to utilize it for right now is going to be to add some effects to the entire mix bus. So right now, I'm actually going to engage what I have going on my favorites. I actually have three. I have the 303 vinyl simulator and the cassette simulator. At this point, I engage those, which it will affect the sound of what I just heard. But I actually like that because it kind of gives me an idea of the direction that I'm going to take this towards. Right now, I'm actually going to go back into where we had our sample editor. And in our sample loop program, I'm actually going to go into our sampler and go to tap our pad tap. And I'm going to keep digging through this record right here. Awesome. I'm going to grab that right there. And now we have on bank A is going to be the loop that we have. And on bank B, since I used the pad tap function, it added into this program that we've already created, and it put everything down in -2 semitones, so it keeps everything locked in the way we want to have it locked in, so we don't have to do extra steps. You know what? On these extra samples that I added, I'm actually going to go into this little eyedrop or this droplet and go to multiple, and I'm going to select everything in bank B, and I'm going to make everything in bank B, which is a bunch of little chops, from one shot into note on. There you go. So now it's only going to play as long as I'm holding down those pads. So what I'm doing, I'm letting this thing play right now, and I'm just listening, and I'm kind of connecting with the main sequence as looping, and I'm auditioning some of these extra samples that I'm adding. Some of them might work, some of them might not work. I'm just kind of going in for the feel. If it feels right to me, I'm gonna stick with it. If it doesn't, I'm gonna move forward as soon as I can, because I want to go ahead and connect with my initial instinct that I have while I'm listening to this record playing back with my drums. In this point right now, it's looping. I'm going to go ahead and hit this little eyeball droplet, and on my main sample loop, I'm on my program. As you guys can see, I'm selected on these four squares. I'm going to go ahead and hit insert. I'm going to go down into Mother Ducker, and I'm going to select that, hit close, and on my drums, I'm going to go to my kick. But instead of my entire program, I'm going to go to my single pad. I'm actually on bank A. And I'm going to go to the main kick that I have, and on track or insert 1, I'm going to go down into Mother Ducker input. Hit close. Go back to track 2, go back to my program, and let's see what we're doing as our sidechain compression. There you go. right, guys. So at this point right here, I don't want this video to go too far, but I have just 2 tracks, which is kind of funny. But I have my drums and I have my sample. Damn. Right now, I'm actually analyzing that most of the time when I do beats, I actually only use 2 to 3 tracks most of the times. I have my drums, my sample, and every now and then I'll throw in a bass line. Go ahead and judge me as you please. Drop it down in the comments, but I'm very simple. Drums, bass, and sample. That's all you need. Really, that's all you need if you want to make some good boom bap style music. Now, I hope you enjoyed this beat. I had a really good time listening to this. I'm gonna go ahead and import this and mix and master and export this so you guys can listen to the full version. So make sure you guys go down in the description and click the link of this full beat so you guys could go ahead and support the channel. If you guys got any questions, any suggestions, please let us know down in the description. Again, I appreciate you taking your time out of your day and watching my video. So thank you so much. I will catch y'all on our next video. Peace.